And I think we are live. Just let me add all of our outlets here so that everyone can see us and hear us. Hi, guys. Tell us if you can hear us and if you can see us. As you see, and as you can hear, probably mostly, for this one, we are also switching to English. And this is because we have Katarzyna Zborowska-Germann and Nina Jachna, who will be presenting a great topic, Salesforce Data Cloud, real-time platform of the future. This is the topic of their presentation, and I will handle it to the ladies in just a short while. Just let me say once again that after their presentations, we'll be holding a Q&A session. So if you guys want to ask your question, if there's anything particularly interesting or concerning to you, if you guys want them to kind of develop their thoughts on some topics, please leave your questions in the comments and we will ask all of your questions to our speakers in just a few moments. I will join you guys in about an hour to host a Q&A session. I think we are all set. So Kasia, Nina, great to have you here on S4 Summit 2023. Hi, guys.
Hi, Dorota. Thank you so much for introduction. My name is Katarzyna Zborowska-Germann, and I'm account executive for Marketing Cloud. And today with me is Nina.
Hi, everyone. Yes, my name is Nina. I'm a solution engineer in Central and Eastern Europe.
So today we want to talk to you about Salesforce Data Cloud. So what is the real-time platform of the future? When we're talking about data cloud, today we're going to be talking about data cloud for marketing. As you probably know, Salesforce is really an innovation company, and we've been striving to build really a customer-centric platform, and data cloud for marketing is something that is currently available and accessible to all of our clients and prospects. So just to start with short agenda. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the challenges around the connected customer and how is that also connected with privacy, cookieless future, and what's its impact. And then I'm going to tell you why Salesforce Data Cloud, what are the advantages and why you should think about actually using one. And then I'm going to pass over the voice to Nina, who says some great stuff to show you in demo and in the systems to show you use cases. And in the very end, we're going to have Q&A. So if you have any questions, just feel free to ask them throughout the comments, and we're going to answer all of them at the very end. So let me start. So challenges. Where are we right now? So in this new world, as we call it, our clients are facing a lot of business challenges. And I think the first one, and something that we hear very often, is that the budgets are tighter. And we, as well in Salesforce, as you probably know, are all being asked to do more with less. So, how the companies can build a loyal relationship while driving productivity, efficiency, and value in those times of economic uncertainty. So, in the world nowadays, after COVID, after all the changes and impact that COVID had on our life, the customers really expect more than ever. They want to work with companies who understand who they are and what they need. So, in fact, 80% of customers agree that the experience a company provides is as important as a product or service it offers. So, think about that. So, but why are the companies struggling to meet this demand? So, there's a few points. First, there's just too much data. So companies are no longer measuring customer transactions by thousands, but by millions or billions of touch points. And in fact, an average company has almost 976 different applications, and they're all in different silos. And then the second point is customers have multiple IDs and they move between channels in real time. And therefore, data privacy regulations are changing with the cookieless future in front of us. And the third one, which is really, really crucial, is that 1 in 3 loyal customers, and I'm saying loyal customers, will now switch from the brands they actually love after just one bad experience. So you want to make sure that you provide them with the best experience with your brand and your services. So customers expect personalization and demand privacy all at the same time. So 90% of consumers say they find personalized marketing appealing. That's according to Deloitte. Then McKinsey proved that almost 80% say that personalized content made them repurchase something. So to be a repeat customer, not just to, have an acquisition campaign and just get this customer for the first transaction, but that they do come back later on. And 87%, and this is something that I mentioned earlier, would not do business with the company if they had concern about its security privacy. So privacy, security, this is all very, very crucial topics when we're talking about data and data cloud. The question is like, how do you connect the channels? How do you reward the impact and manage competition and optimize the balance between the revenue and the cost acquisition? So let's take a very specific example here from a typical customer journey, right? So when we look at it, they go through multiple channels and buying is never linear, right? So it's not a straight line. So they might have a very strong engagement, say in social media, but then have very surface with brand advertising, depending on the brand and the customer we're talking about here. And as you recognize all those touch points, you realize that you have a very incomplete picture of your customer. If you can even stitch these touch points all together at all, that's the question. So what you need to do is you want to maximize awareness and coverage. You want to maximize your profit. And you do that by balancing your fixed costs. And do you tune your efforts to reward customers who purchase on lower cost channels? That is a good question, right? So all the privacy changes we've been seeing throughout the last few years, right? So we had the GDPR that really impacted how we're doing business here in the European Union. There've been changes done by Apple and Firefox done already that are blocking third-party cookies, and then more changes done by Apple. So, for example, like app tracking transparency that made a massive impact on how you can actually track, so understand your client, and you can actually then know. So and the last one, something is that we're still waiting for it to happen. It's been postponed twice, but it's inevitable that Google also will block third-party cookies. So how we at Salesforce, so this is our view, how we see what is right now, and how the digital customer is really changing the experience. So if you look at it, you will see that all the third-party cookies, in-app tracking, email tracking, all of that location tracking are actually within a third-party walled gardens. So that's Facebook, Google, Amazon, for example. And then you can collect that data and then bring them to your system where you collect your own, whether it's a CRM or CDP. But you're missing quite a bit, and it's blurred data. But what it's even worse, with all the changes that are happening and all the consequences, is that all this data is going to become stale, and it's actually going to be removed at some point. So you will not even see this. So you want to make sure that your strategy is built and based on first party data. And the good news is you already have it, right? So you do know already a lot what your customers are doing on your website, how they're purchasing, how they're reacting to your marketing. The challenge is here to have it all in one place. That's why we think having one source of truth, so one unified profile of the customer, is the leverage. So you can leverage your own data, collect the behavioral signals, any activity data, all the enrichment data, and you can actually send that in terms of audiences, segments, any kind of way to those walled gardens and run Facebook or Google campaigns. And you're in charge of the data. You're in charge of your customers' privacy, so you can actually manage their expectations much better. And you're not risking that you're going to work on old data or not reliable data. So my next part is to talk to you a little bit about why a Salesforce Data Cloud. And I divided that into 3 sections that I'm going to tell you a little bit more. But first of all, so if you connect all the data and bring them together, so the data cloud has a number of out-of-the-box connectors, and it uses data from all the possible touch points. So if you really try to think about it, anywhere you have data about your customer, whether it's your customer service, sales service, your website, your app, any device, anything that you're storing in, say, Google Cloud or in Amazon Cloud, anywhere else, you have that data. The question is how to bring it in. So that's what the Salesforce Data Cloud enables you, right? So you can do batch streaming ingestion of data, and you can do it really at scale, right? So we're talking a massive amount of data. And so once you have the data, the question is, okay, how to harmonize it, how you build data model to create a customer graph. I'm going to go in those 3 parts I told you about in depth in a moment. That's why I'm breezing through this part, but just to show you like how it's all built and how it's all working together. So once you have the unified customer, you can analyze and predict. Perfect case here for using artificial intelligence. And then you can act upon it, right? So you can build float, you can build activations throughout channels. But let me step back and go through those 3 points that I told you about. So to truly know your customer, you must be able to connect your data across multiple sources. And today with Data Cloud, you can actually do that. So you can connect your internal data within Salesforce, for example, if you're already a customer of ours. So whether it's sales, service, commerce, marketing, and also you can do that through external data and with help with me also, for example. So you can connect data from Google Cloud Storage, from Amazon S3. You can leverage unified SDKs. You can resolve identities faster by improving the match rates. So this is also something that is like a crucial part for us, is to make sure you have the data harmonized and you can see who's who and what is important for you and how you should act upon it. And then you can also obviously enrich your unified profiles to optimize your high value segments or power personalization. So when we're talking about the connecting data, so doing that at scale is really something complex and difficult. And this has been a huge problem that's burdened a lot of our customers. So, in fact, 36% of IT's time is spent designing, building, and testing custom integration across those systems. So you actually then working with an expensive integrations. They're expensive to maintain. They're brittle because if there's some bigger players like Google, Facebook, they're doing changes, you have to adjust your own systems. Here it's work for Salesforce, right? So we need to be integrated with those systems and we're responsible for stitching this together. And you need to remember that when you think about relationships, they aren't static. So your data can't be either. And that's why you need a unified data platform. Customers are constantly changing. So the shift, for example, to digital accelerated this massively. And I don't know if you saw some statistic lately that actually Poland is one of the countries that kept the trend. Many of the Western countries went a little bit back. So going to the store or being offline came back a little bit to the previous levels, but Poland is really strong in keeping that digital level. And you also should remember so that most of brands are working with static data and they struggle to unify it. So here's an example. So it's Sam, her name is Sam, and she has a lot of activities, right? So for example, she pictures or something on your website. So there's the transaction we want to track. She received the email marketing. that she actually was interested and clicked and got some discount for the future purchase. She contacted your customer service because it turned out that the color she chose, it was not the one she wanted, and she wanted to cancel her order, for example. And every single of those touch points, they need to be connected, so we know that's Sam. So that's this one particular person with all those interests. And not to forget and not to think about, okay, like we have to know everything about this client and have personal data like email or phone number. The good thing is with the data cloud, you're able to connect, and actually in 95% we don't have a name yet to that activity, so we don't know it's Sam, but we know it's a person, probably a female based on the purchases or the activities, but we can already connect this data. And once she shares any kind of information about her that we can contact her, then we can stitch. This is what I told you about before, right? So profile stitching. So you're not going to have like something that happened before we identified her is becoming stale. No, we're going to still use it because it's important, right? It's their whole history with you and your brand. The second part, where I want to talk a little bit to you about how to analyze and predict with AI. So it's actually something that I find super basic when you think about it. But when I speak to most of the clients, they're not able to do that. When I ask them, like, can you size and create segments right now and run the campaign? 90%, 95% of them say, no, I need to ask somebody to pull a list or prepare it, or analysts to prepare me that list, because I don't have this data real time. And that's super crucial. And you can also create in real time the behavioral scores, so you can actually know your audience. And in this case, which is even better, is like you own your own audience, right? So you're in charge of it, and you can engage your customers with relevant information. You can unlock the full power of an open ecosystem. And of course, really, really important, like tracking consent and preferences, right, are in compliance with customer privacy laws that are capturing that data. Here's just a little bit of a graph that shows you how you can use data cloud in different stages of customers. So whether it's acquisition, so acquiring new customer, improving engagement, upsell, cross sell, you have use case for each one of those. Some of them Nina is going to show you. That's why I'm not going to steal her thunder. And the third part is to act, personalize, and measure. So first of all, you actually create real-time segments, and you can do that omni-channel. So it's omni-channel activation. So whether you're running a campaign, you want to make sure that however you're speaking to your client on your website is same how you speak to your client in their email, in advertising, in social media, anyway. And then you can also target your customers with the right engagement and a right, we call it right contact points. And what I mean here is, let's say there is a case in your customer service and it has high priority, and it's a problem. Let's say this is not a moment to send an, hey, you're gonna have a 10% discount, don't you want to use it? It's actually a bad experience for the customer. So what you want to do is you want to make sure there is a trigger that if there is a case with the complaint, you're going to pause any proactive marketing activities. And what you want to see is here is that the data cloud supports many of those use cases. As I said, Nina's going to show you some of them, but they really are helping you to build this customer life cycle, right? So you want to make sure for each stage you have an action which you can do something about it. And what is even better, you're learning, right? So whether it's sending more relevant offers, better call to action, or telling your sales team, hey, if you're speaking to this client, this then this you should talk to them about, this is interest them, they showed an interest in that. And then whether it's onboarding, upsell, or actually building loyalty. Loyalty is also a super interesting topic for us in Salesforce. probably for another a whole presentation. But we really believe loyalty is still something that is worth fighting for, because our customers have shown us yet again and again that keeping the customers you already have is really giving you much more return on investment. And then I'm coming to the end of my presentation. So 2 points. First, with over 50 connectors that are ready out of the box, you can implement Salesforce and complete projects faster. So while external systems can write some data into the CRM, they are unable to match the scale, the speed, and convenience. And administration is simplified, as scheduling, monitoring, configuration, and all can be performed within the CRM. So there's no more round tripping data through expensive, fragile, and low performing external systems. But it's all built natively in Salesforce Data Cloud. And the second part I want to finish my my presentation with is to tell you that when we build our data cloud, we really want to build it as an open ecosystem, right? So we want to give an access to our clients so they can use any other systems they want. So whether it's an open data access, that we already have a cooperation with Snowflake. There's plans to expand it to different partners, obviously. And there's first party advertising. There's even your bring your own AI. So you can bring your models that you already have ready. And then we have a full list. This is just an example. This is not a full list, but app exchange partners that we work with. So whether you want to send your audience to Criteo or Adform or LiveRamp, right? So use any kind of those partners to help you manage your data, understand it, and then activate it, and then keep on learning based on it. All right, guys. So that's my part, and I'm gonna hand over the voice to Nina.
Yes, thank you very much, Kasia. It was a really interesting presentation. I also myself learned quite a bit about marketing today, so thanks a lot for that. And now let's talk about more the technical perspective of everything that we've just heard about and of Salesforce Data Cloud. It is usually massively complex to create a single source of truth, because you have to think about a lot of different data sources. You have to think about the different types in which this data can come in. And even if you are able to bring all of those data sources together, how do you make sure that the data is accessible, and how do you store it in a harmonized way so that different teams, whether that's marketing or sales or service or others, can actually benefit from that? Well, the way we approach this at Salesforce is by looking at the 6 V's of data. Those V's are variety, velocity, veracity, volume, value, and the ecosystem value, which we treat kind of together. It all starts with actually being able to handle the large variety of data across marketing, commerce, web, mobile, email, and all the other sources, and being able to do that at high velocity. So that's no matter if we're talking about batch streaming, batch ingestions, different data sources, or maybe even real-time event streaming. This actually also brings us to veracity. So specifically here, you need to be able to resolve the identity, maintain lineage, and maintain the right governance. The next step is for us to be able to account for the large volume, because we need those capabilities to work at scale, for instance, for billions of different profiles. But we also know that our customers actually need that data to be actionable. And this is where Salesforce delivers a lot of value. We give the ability to analyze the data, for instance, then later on to apply it in business intelligence, to engage in marketing, use it for advertising. There's really a number of different use cases. And these are the 6 things that we have to think about when we build a platform like this. Now, let's move on and see all of this in action. So let's talk about the first 2 steps first. And here we're looking at velocity, specifically different data sources and different ways of connecting them. Now we are in Data Cloud. This is the user interface you might be familiar with if you've ever seen Salesforce before. It's the Lightning interface, and it is all powered by Hyperforce, which is what we call the Salesforce's public cloud infrastructure. It is designed so that you can get all of the data into the system, and you can scale it depending on the needs of your company. Right now, we are on the home page, and here we can see the overview of different data streams, the segments, activations, on, for instance, other information like how much data has been brought into the system. What we're going to do is actually try to ingest some data into the system ourselves, and this is what we do when we head to the data streams. This is an overview of all the existing data streams already. However, we have the possibility of adding a new one, and here we really have a big variety of options. You will be able to see very soon that we can connect, for instance, Marketing Cloud to bring any email, push, SMS information. We also have the Salesforce CRM to connect the CRM data, like sales data, service data, loyalty data, or from any other application like B2C commerce. We can also bring in engagement data from mobile apps, the views, the browsing history, the transactions, purchases, and so on, via the mobile app SDK. The same applies for web, where you can get real-time behavioral data about the interactions with your website, for example. What's important is that we also have the ingestion API, which allows you to bring data from external applications, either via streaming or batch. We can connect to Amazon and Google Cloud Storage as well, or you can create your own packages of data and just upload them to the platform. Last but not least, there's the MuleSoft Anypoint Exchange. When you see MuleSoft, just think integration. Here, you can bring hundreds of new connectors to enable a larger let's say, variety of sources that you bring your data from. Now, let's start with Marketing Cloud. I'm actually going to choose Marketing Cloud as the data source. This is a native integration that our teams have built so that you can bring the data related to emails, for instance, to SMS, to push, and any other data that you might have imported into your Marketing Cloud. I will select mobile push in order to get the mobile data in. Since this is natively integrated, I don't have to set up any custom workflows, processes, and so on to access the data. It is really just a matter of a couple of clicks, and then all the data is on the platform. Now, let's talk about the second scenario, which is actually importing the Salesforce CRM data onto the platform. This is another one where you have the ability to bring the data into different sources, and it's really, again, a matter of just doing a couple of clicks. Here, out of the box, you have bundles, for instance, for loyalty, for service, and for sales. And they allow you to really get fast and big time to value because this is already mapped in the system into the canonical data model. It is all pre-built, and on top of what you have here, you can also use our ISV partnerships, so partnerships with other, using our solutions built by partners. You have the possibility of selecting one of these, or you can decide specifically on which objects you're looking for. Here we have all objects available, and for the purpose of the demo, I'm going to select batch. Now, all of the data from the batch object is going to be added to the system with just a couple of clicks. Now, you've seen how easy it is to get the data into the system. Now, it is actually very important to prepare the data and do the transformations so that you can refine the data as needed. And this is definitely a very crucial step. So let us head back to the org and look at the different data recipes. We're going to head to data prep and have a look at everything that has been already pre-built on the platform. Here are just a couple of examples. For instance, age transformations. You can do as many transformations as you want on the platform. Now, let's look at this specific one. Here, we can actually preview all that makes up this transformation. There's a lot of different functions that are also available for you directly in the tool when you create the recipe. Here, you have the possibility, for instance, to do functions such as streaming, substring, split, uppercase, lowercase. You also have the possibility to, for instance, format the dates, do bucketing, flatten the data, edit certain attributes, and much, much more. What's interesting is that our artificial intelligence layer that's on the platform is also available for you here, for instance, to detect sentiment, predict missing values, or do time series forecasting. All of this is using the power of machine learning. So you can see that we have really a robust set of tools to do the data prep and transformation. And again, all of this without the needing to code, it's all available in our builders. So far, we have seen how to bring the data in and how to transform it. Now let's look at the next layer, which allows us to harmonize it and to create the gold layer. The data in the gold layer is the data set that the teams across different lines of business use, for instance, marketing, analytics, AI, commerce, customer service, and much, much more. So what we'll do is actually head to the data streams. And this is one of the data streams that has been already created on the platform. For this capability, let's use a commerce example, leveraging online data from Commerce Cloud, as well as offline point of sale data. So here you can see the online data that is coming from our commerce system, from Commerce Cloud, and it is pre-mapped so that we don't have to do any mappings ourselves. But if I wanted to, I can add another mapping. For instance, here we can see that we have email available as a custom field. I can very easily select that and I could match it with the email address that I have available here. And just like that, the fields have been matched. I am not limited to the out-of-the-box model, as you can see, and I can also include a number of custom fields. Here, there's an option. I'm being asked to save the custom mapping, which I don't want to do. But we have the option of basically adding the custom fields to the model as we please. Now let's look at bringing in some of the offline data. And here we have another example with order headers. The source fields may be completely different, but what we're doing here is that we're able to map it to the same data that we had seen before. So it gives us a way to create a harmonized data model for our transactions. And this, again, happens very easily in just a matter of seconds. One more place where we can look, and I think this is one of the favorite ones that our customers want to see, is the data model, which we can see as a graph. And here, I'm sure you like the visualization. It's a very, very interesting one and one that reacts to what we're trying to see. So here we look at the sneak peek of what it looks like from an individual unified profile perspective, which is our golden record or the single source of truth. And you see how the individual is tied to hundreds of other data sources that have been already linked for you. This is, again, the power of our declarative platform, and this is all an out-of-the-box model. So you've seen how we created different relationships. Now it's very easy to see them in the graph without need for any manual work. So you've watched me import the raw data, refine it, model it. Now let's talk about how we can create a single source of truth and unify the profiles. Like we talked about it earlier, now we have pre-built capabilities for profile unification so that once your harmonized data model is available, identity resolution is constantly running and it's creating those customer profiles to create this single source of truth that we looked at with both exact matching and probabilistic matching. So what we can do is, again, head back to the system and look at another area of our platform, area of the solution, which is the identity resolutions. Here, let's explore this profile unification process by starting with the match rules. You can see that I am leveraging many different identifiers because, as we talked about, customer data lives in a variety of different systems, which might have their own unique identifier, and we need to have a possibility of somehow resolving that. And this is exactly what's possible now with Salesforce Data Cloud. You might have email, phone, iOS device identifier, web cookie, you name it. Data Cloud gives you the probabilistic matching with fuzzy name, normalized email, normalized address, and more out of the box. And there's a number of other features that you can have a look at, which we don't have time to do now, but we'll be happy to share some more information about. One important thing to mention are the reconciliation rules. Our perspective is that we are unifying your data, so we want to maintain the data lineage, but also to give you the ability to create that one profile and allow you to reconcile certain records based on the profile. Now that we've created that data cloud powers single source of truth, let's talk about getting value out of the data. We'll talk about the first use case, about how data cloud powers unified profiles and what a unified profile can bring to your business. So this is an example of a unified profile. As you can see, we can see quite a lot of information here already in the first glance. Let me show another example of such a unified profile. Here we can see Rachel Morris. We can see her customer ID, what segments she's part of, her lifetime value, propensity to purchase, and more. This is really a fully complete view, now not only with transactional data, but also with real-time data. All of these insights are powered by our calculated insights capability. We can see what brand she subscribed to, we can see the record of her store purchases and her online purchases. Now you can also create your own views if you want to see that data differently. While consolidating all this information in a single place is useful, this is where the magic of data clouds comes in. We took all of these data points and then calculated insights on her propensity to churn, and we have noted her affinity towards running. So now the best next action component is telling us about the promotion and that this is something that should be offered to her. This is the power of Einstein decision-making engine. And this is based on real-time data. Now, with all this information, every interaction with Rachel can be very personal. Now we can talk about the insights from the data. And this is one of my favorite topics because it really opens up a world of opportunities. We talked about calculated insights before, for instance, the propensity to churn and the lifetime value. But we also have streaming insights that allow you to create multidimensional metrics that can be used for personalization, business intelligence, and more. You can access advanced functions, for instance, ranking, dense, rank, person rank, all your statistical functions that you might need to really calculate things like affinities. And all of that is possible in the calculated insights section. Here we have just a couple of examples. And here we, for instance, see that we can rank, see the insights looking at the ranking by spend, social channel affinity, engagement preferences across social channels, and more. When creating insights, you have the option of either using the builder interface, using SQL, or creating real-time streaming insights. It gives you the ability to create batch and real-time insights so that you can take action in the moment, but also, if you wish to, you can take action based on historical data. Data Cloud can power business intelligence as well, and this is very interesting. Some of you might have heard about Tableau. Tableau is one of the business intelligence tools that really allows you to go to another level when it comes to your visualizations. We have native connectors that expose all the data in Data Cloud to Tableau. So here, for instance, you can generate visualizations about engagement, loyalty, or segmentation insights. You can also leverage the Python SDK to connect to Power BI and any other analytics choice, so you're not really limited to Tableau. So far, we have seen a lot about how Data Cloud can power various parts of your business, but also what is important is its influence on marketing specifically, which Kasia touched upon already a lot. And this is where our advanced segmentation capabilities with drag and drop builder come into play, so that you can create those segments and discover new opportunities and scale. You can also do multi-channel orchestration of omni-channel journeys for messaging, SMS, push advertising, retargeting, and more. You can activate the data for advertising across different platforms, and thanks to our partnerships with companies like Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, this is really possible on a larger scale than ever before. What's interesting is that you can also leverage these segments to personalize, for instance, your commerce storefront. Using your customer segment or customer group, you can do targeting using site banners and allow to show the promotions to really restyle your whole website depending on who is seeing it. So while unknown customers get a generic experience, Rachel, the one we've already been following in our presentation, She will see exactly the segments that's tailored for her based on the insights that we found about her. Now we can have a look a little bit at how this looks like behind the scenes. And here we have an example of a segment that was already pre-built before the presentation. It's a segment of lost customers that have a hiking affinity. All the data is here available in a declarative way for the business users, and they can also do segmentation on that. Any propensity models that you might be bringing in, all of that is available for you to work with. Before, it could take days or weeks to come up with a final segment, final campaign that we want to do. But now with all these capabilities, all you have to do is really access and use the canvas that's already available for you. It's a huge gain in efficiency when it comes to the marketing needs, but also advertising and analyzing your data in general. So you can really do the analysis, segment building, and activations at scale with your data. For Marketing Cloud customers, we can also integrate with Journey Builder. Here we are starting with the same lost customers with the hiking interest segment. We're leveraging email to re-engage with them as the first touch point. In addition, we can leverage AI capabilities, for instance, send time optimization. Let me refresh the page. And now you will see exactly what we mean. Here we have the email as the first channel and the Einstein send time optimization. If there are customers who we know who are unlikely to engage via email, we can also look at other channel preferences. Perhaps there is a better strategy, for instance, by sending email or sending push. The system really allows us to analyze that, to see that, to make use of that information, and make sure that we use all of the possibilities that we have in our portfolio. Now, the last element I want to point your attention to are the data actions. The data actions allow us to orchestrate real-time experiences across customer touchpoints like journeys, CRM, external systems, and more. So it's a really place where you can manage end-to-end. All of these capabilities are enabled with data actions, and you can see the different actions that took place based on the real-time data sources, like creating a case, following up on a bad review, anything that your different departments and different teams might be busy with. An example from marketing is that our marketing teams at Salesforce often notify our account executives about customers' intent based on their browsing behavior on our website by capturing real-time browsing data. On Slack, which is the communication tool that we internally use, they send a message or the message is triggered to be sent to the AE with the most recently browsed pages by the customer. So they can really do the outreach straight away. Now, in summary, today, what I showed you is just several ways in which Data Cloud can manage your data at high scale, high velocity, and really a large amount of that data so that you can optimize your customer 360 in real time. We showed you how to personalize experiences for your customers across the website, across customer service interactions, and of course, the conversations with the account executives. We highlighted that clicks and not code approach is really the one that enables all of the business users to make use of the data and not only the admins and people who are actually data experts and data analysts. And then finally, you saw how our App Exchange partnerships are available for you to extend the capabilities of the platform. Thank you very much, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
Okay, so I'm joining you for the Q&A session. Let's see if we have any questions from our viewers. Yes, we do. Okay, so the first one that we have here is this one. Is Data Cloud compatible with GDPR and other personal data protection rules?
So I would say yes, of course. we have to be, as a company, a GDPR compliant company. There's a lot of resources. You can find them on our website. You can also find them in help center, and there's a lot of materials. So yes, but we need to still remember that this is, if you have customer data, you are in charge of it, how you manage it. But the good news is, data cloud also helps you manage, for example, marketing consents, right? So that you are compliant, that you're actually responding to the preferences of the any particular user. You can always do that. And the great thing is, it helps you do it across your systems, right? So it's like a consent manager tool that we have in our tool.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I can only echo what Kasia said. This is something that's built into all of the different solutions that we have, focused on different functions of a company. So no matter if we're talking about marketing or, for instance, the outreach by customer service, the consent giving by the customer is, of course, taken into consideration before, and then the person doing the outreach is informed of whether they can do that on a specific channel or not.
Great. More questions coming to us, so let me just show you the second one. Hi, could you tell how a Salesforce Data Cloud manages poor quality data? Sometimes we can't control what comes from external sources or systems.
Yes,
Do you
I
want to
think
take
that's
this on, Nina? Yeah.
yes. I'll do my best. If you have anything to add, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, the platform has a couple of, let's say, ways of managing the data. Of course, we can't influence what kind of data the customers have, but we can actually support them either at the first moment when they start using the Salesforce platform, or then as the new data comes in, to make sure that that data has high quality, is complete, and so on. So one of the elements of the solution that a lot of our customers use is the duplication management aspect, or the set of capabilities. Here, for instance, every time new data is being added before a new record is created, for instance, a lead record, the system automatically checks whether, for instance, there's a contact that already exists with either the same name, the same last name, the same email address, and so on. And when it exists, there's a possibility to either just show that to the sales representative or any representative who's trying to create a new record, so that they are aware and can make a decision, or that's something that also can be automated. So the system can be, let's say, can prevent any creation of a new record because of the duplicate. Then when it comes to actually making sure that the data stays high quality while you're already using Salesforce to run your business, what's also interesting is, for instance, the possibility to make some of the fields that you need to fill in required on the record. So this is a lot of times the case when, for instance, sales representatives go into the field and they have meetings with their customers. Usually you afterwards want to create a report so that everyone at the company has visibility. And in the past, a lot of companies ended up having just completely empty reports because no data was added to the system. Now, if you make some fields required, or you can even present them as like a list of tasks, list of information to collect, this can all ensure that at the end of the day, all of those records, all of those reports are complete with information that your company actually wants to gather. But it's definitely a question of what is the information that you need, and not a matter of making unnecessary administrative work necessary.
Great. Another one. Where do you see the best, most effective use? Any examples of any good implementation?
Yeah, so actually we have quite a few. Obviously, there's a limited number of those we can speak publicly about, but we just had some really great cases. So if you probably just Google Salesforce and Ford, or Salesforce and Formula One, you're gonna see that, like, something that many customers are not even aware that this is possible. So with the Ford, they were able to collect all the possible data about the customers, and that's the power of our data cloud, right? That you have all the information from any kind of tools or systems, whether you're using them internally or your customers are using, that are collected within. Same for Formula One. They had a great use to how to build a bigger fan base, but also how to loyalize them the best, so they have the best experience. And I remember there was like 88% of satisfaction from the fan base. There's quite a few of those. There's obviously a lot of retail examples like Stokke, probably the Swedish company building the children and baby furniture. They also were able to personalize in every single, so omni-channel personalization. And that's something that kind of is something that we think is obvious, but it's not. And that way they were able to increase the customer revenue, meaning that they were purchasing more because they were recommending just better products and in the right time. And actually there's the discussion, and that also something I want to make sure that when we speak real time, because our tool is real time, it has the data real time, but how you use it, we call it, you should use it in a right time, right? So to have that data and then to access it, but activate it when you really can use it. So our AI is really helping with that. So there's a lot of cases. It really depends on the business model. What are your needs? What are your targets, KPIs, anything you're working with? But we have, like, whether it's really connecting multiple systems. I think that we had a case that they were able to connect all the siloed systems and actually collect the data. Just that already made a massive change. Or then how you actually process the data and activate it outside of your own or your own environment tools, whether it's a website, app.
Yeah, maybe one thing to add, because the fourth example Kasia mentioned at the very beginning, it's a really interesting one. So for those of you who are not aware or haven't read about that, and one of the things that they were able to do is, for instance, to analyze the data about the driving patterns of their customers. So that they are aware which customer has which vehicle, and there are sensors. They can use the telemetry data to, for instance, see on what kind of roads are the customers driving. Is it city roads? Is it small roads? Or is it big highways in the US, for instance? They were able to analyze how much they are braking or how often they are braking. And in the end, how they ended up using that information is that, for instance, they were analyzing what kind of offering is the best one to offer at the point of renewal of their customers. So let's say the lease is coming to an end, they have the possibility to position or to sell another kind of vehicle or system. And they actually have this new system that they developed for like contactless driving. So they are able to identify the best group based on all of the data, either their own data about their vehicles or the telemetry data from other systems, and based on that offer the right kind of recommendation to the customers. So this is something that's also available online. If you're curious to read more, you'll be definitely able to find that on our website.
Thank you so much. Another question. This one is from YouTube. Bartłomiej is asking, when are the Amazon ads, bring your own AI and data prep features discussed here planned to be released as part of general availability?
So the Amazon Bring Your Own AI, it was a SageMaker, right? that's the one that it's already available, right? So this is currently open to any customer that is using Data Cloud. Bring Your Own AI. So any other AIs that we want to work with, this is obviously something we have on our roadmap. As you probably know, we have 3 releases per year for all of our products, so obviously for Data Cloud as well. And then we're gonna be announcing as soon as we have some information. But it's all on our roadmap. We obviously, as we talk about open ecosystem, we want to make sure that we are working with any kind of system or AI or whether it's storage data with
What we're also trying to do while those announcements are being made and we make those, let's say, presentations, present those ideas to customers, is to also initiate conversations with our customers and see in which direction they would imagine this solution to go in their scenario, what use cases they would themselves imagine, so that we can also influence the direction of the product development. So if there's any customers or potential customers here and you see how Data Cloud could be applied for you, for your own company, definitely let us know.
Okay, and I believe we still have some questions. Oh, I think it is the last one, but we still have about 5 minutes. So if any of you guys wants to add a question, please do. You still have some time. Okay, Mateusz is asking, is Genie a synonym to Data Cloud, or is Genie? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I read it because maybe someone isn't watching?
Yes.
Is it a synonym or is it is Genie enhancing DC's capabilities? Because some screenshots were referring to the platform as Data Cloud, some as Genie. So Mateusz is interested in this inconsistency.
It is, and I would also agree. It might seem like an inconsistency. You know that at Salesforce we like to have mascots for different solutions that we have, but also for different capabilities. Like we have Einstein for everything that covers artificial intelligence, and this is also what we've seen in the marketing cloud journey builder today. Genie is like a mascot. Genie is a representation of the Salesforce Data Cloud. So this is something that we use to make the product or the topic more approachable. This is something that really is a symbol, a representation. But the official name is Salesforce Data Cloud. And if you ever want to inquire more and learn more, talk with someone, one of our sales representatives about it, or one of our technical experts, definitely ask about Salesforce Data Cloud. And what we focused on today in Kasia's presentation, for instance, was this application for marketing. But as said, the Salesforce Data Cloud is basically the entire platform and infrastructure, and it has applications and possible use cases in a variety of different departments.
Okay, and I believe this is the last question that we have on our list, but there is a list of kudos also here. Oscar is saying how great it was listening to you guys. And Michał is also saying, as someone who has watched 3 other presentations about the Data Cloud, I would have to say this one got the most value to me. Congratulations to Kasia and Nina. Thank you. Thank you so much, Michał, for your comment.
Thank you
Yeah.
for that feedback. That's very valuable for us.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for sharing your knowledge, sharing your experience, sharing your thoughts on this topic. Thank you so much for answering the questions in such a complex way so that all of our viewers know everything right now. I'm so happy that you guys joined us for Salesforce Summit 2023. And I really hope that you guys will be able to come back as presenters next time. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting us, and maybe an invite from our side as well. We are coming to Warsaw on May 24th. We'll hold the biggest event of Salesforce in person this year, which is our World Tour Essentials at the National Stadium in Warsaw. And there you'll be able to learn much, much more about Data Cloud, if that's what's interesting for you. But also you'll have a chance to actually speak to us, ask any of the questions you might have. So really on a one-on-one basis. So join us in Warsaw, and thank you very much from my side.
Thank you as well.
Thank you so much, guys. And for now, we're going to a short break. We'll be back here at 1 o'clock to host yet another presentation. Thank you guys so much. See you soon. Bye-bye.